All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with part 3 of this video series titled Michael Jordan, Horus, Heru. Okay. So in parts 1 and 2, we basically left off, proving how Michael Jordan is connected or really playing the role of Horus / Heru. Okay. How he's always going to be known as the GOAT. Okay. And that's even 3-dimensionally. He's always going to wear the title of the GOAT. Okay. Because again, one of the names for Saturn, which is the Capricorn, the GOAT, one of the names for Saturn that the Egyptians gave that planet was what? Horus, the bull of the sky. Okay. We also showed how Michael Jordan is always connected to water in some way, shape, or form. Okay. I explained how I believe water is a trigger for Mr. Michael Jordan. Right? So that's pretty much what we went through in parts 1 and 2. And here in part 3, possibly part 4, we're going to continue basically proving how I believe, and this is just my critique, that Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, that his life is definitely scripted. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to pick up in this particular part by looking at a particular fraternity. I know that's kind of left field, but that's how we're going to start. But once I start explaining everything, it's going to make all the sense in the world, because fraternities, and this particular fraternity plays a very important role in Mr. Michael Jordan's life / script. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to pick up, or we're going to start off talking about this particular fraternity, and we're going to go from there. Okay. So let's get to it. So here's some information about the Black Greek letter fraternity known as Omega Psi Phi. Okay. And it reads, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc. is an international, historically African-American social fraternity. It was founded on November 17, 1911 at Howard University in Washington, D.C. Make a mental note of that. That's actually very important. Okay, it plays a part of Michael Jordan's script. Okay. It says Omega Psi Phi is a founding member of the National Pan-Hellenic Council. Okay, also known as NPHC. Right? It says the fraternity has chartered over 750 undergraduate and graduate chapters. Over 250,000 men have been initiated into Omega Psi Phi. Okay. Now, let me give you a bit of history. Now, when you look at the National Pan-Hellenic Council, which is also known as the NPHC, under that particular banner, you have what's known as the Divine Nine, okay, which is basically 9 Greek letter fraternity and sororities, okay? It's 9 of them put together, right? Now, the oldest Greek letter fraternity is actually Sigma Pi Phi, also known as the Boule. Okay, now the difference between the Sigma Pi Phi, the Boule, and the Divine Nine is the Divine Nine is a collegiate level. It is made of collegiate level fraternities and sororities, while the Boule is professional level. Okay. In order to get into the Divine Nine, you have to pledge. Okay. You have to pledge into these fraternities and sororities, basically in college. It's collegiate. Whereas the Boule is professional level and it's more exclusive. It's very hard to get into. Wow, the Divine Nine, those fraternities and sororities are more inclusive. Now with the Boule, the only way you can get into the Boule is by invitation. Okay, in order to get into the Divine Nine, you got to pledge. That's the difference. Okay. Now this is just my critique, but the Divine Nine, the fraternities within the Divine Nine, I believe, are actually stomping grounds to, or basically recruitment organizations for the Boule. Okay, because again, the Boule is professional level. The men inside the Boule are more established. They are established and basically famous within their careers and things of this nature. Okay, so what I want to do next, let's take a look at the logo for Omega Psi-Phi. Okay, now this is the logo, right? Now, what's important here, and which we're going to get into in a minute, really is the color scheme. Okay, but we're going to put that on pause for just a minute. Okay, but if you want to know what that is on the actual shield, it's supposed to be a lamp. Okay, and of course the Greek letters that make out Omega Psi-Phi, right? Now that first letter is a Greek Q. Okay, now what you're going to find out is the members of Omega Psi-Phi, they're known as Qs or a Q dog, right? Now that phrase, a Q dog, now in reality, you should already know that these Greek fraternities and these black Greek letter fraternities, they go back to Freemasonry. Freemasonry goes back to the mystery religions of old, the mystery school systems of old, which is basically based in paganism. That's what it goes back to. Okay, but again, the members of Omega Psi-Phi are known as Q dogs. That goes back to ancient Egypt and veneration of Anubis. Believe it or not. Okay, not to digress too much, but that's really what that's going into. Okay, but now let's move forward. Let's take a look at something else here. I'm building a foundation. Be patient with me. It's all going to make sense in just a minute. Okay, let's move forward. So now what I'm going to do, this is a book right here. And the title is History of Sigma Pi Phi. Now we know Sigma Pi Phi, that's actually the Boule. The Boule is the oldest black Greek letter fraternity in the US. Okay, it goes back to its inception was in 1904. Okay, that's when the Boule was actually created, in 1904. Okay, now there's something in this particular book that I actually want to bring out, because what you have to understand, I know a lot of times you all may have heard myself and people like me have made the statement that the Boule is simply the black version of the Greek fraternity Skull and Bones, which comes out of Yale University. Now, a lot of people may say, oh, that's a reach and this, that, and the third. No, it's not. The Boule really is the black version of the Skull and Bones fraternity. And we're going to prove that. Okay. This is a book on the history of the Boule. Okay. By Charles H. Wesley. Now, let's open up. Let's actually see what he actually said inside of this book. Watch this. All right, so here is one of the quotes in the book, and it reads, it says, his dream and ambition. Now, before I even start, let me tell you who he's talking about, okay? He's talking about a man by the name of Henry Menton. Henry Menton is actually one of the founders of the Boule, Sigma Pi Phi. So he's basically about to quote one of Henry Menton's quotes. Okay, so it reads, it says his dream and ambition were to organize a Greek letter fraternity and to have its members not be selected on the basis of brains alone, but in addition to congeniality, culture, and good fellowship. That they should have behind them a record of accomplishment, not merely be men of promise and good education. In summary, Menton wanted to create an organization which would partake, in his own words, of the tenets of Skull and Bones at Yale and Phi Beta Kappa. Pause right there. This is exactly what we tell you, that the Boule is simply the black version of Skull and Bones. Okay, but notice he said Skull and Bones and he mentioned another fraternity, Phi Beta Kappa. Phi Beta Kappa is the oldest Greek letter fraternity in America, period. It's the oldest one. Its inception was the same year of the birth of America in 1776. America was established July 4th, 1776. Phi Beta Kappa was established December 1776. Okay, so when when you look at all these Negroes that's in these black letter fraternities, all it is assimilation. You're trying to be like your oppressor. You're trying to be like Esau, the white man. That's all it is. And this is really in the spirit. Okay, being that right now, what are we in? We're in Hanukkah season. Okay, and the Lord really is putting it on my spirit to bring this out. But yeah, we're in Hanukkah season. And what was part of Hanukkah season? You had a bunch of Negroes that wanted to assimilate into the Greek culture willingly. Well, that's what this is all over again in 2025. Okay? But that's the gist of it. Okay, when you look at these black Greek letter fraternities, okay, the Divine Nine, and then going all the way back to the original one, which is the Boule. All they're trying to do is be like, you're trying to be like your oppressors. Okay, and we know that all of this is rooted in Freemasonry. Okay, but with that in mind, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to Omega Psi Phi. And let's look at a lot of the members of Omega Psi Phi, and let's see if you recognize some of these names. Okay, let's take a look. So here are a few notable members of Omega Psi Phi. Okay. Now, I'm not going to read all these names, but I am going to point out a lot of them that stand out. Okay. I see Langston Hughes. I see Reverend Jesse Jackson. Let's see. Oh, bottom right corner, Mr. Bill Cosby himself was a part of Omega Psi Phi. They pledged Omega Psi Phi. Okay, but it gets even better. Hold on. Okay, a lot of these are popular names, but let's move forward. Let's look at the next slide. Now, would you look at that? At the very top, Mr. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan pledged Omega Psi Phi. Moving on down, Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, they are brothers within the craft. Okay, they are both Q dogs. Okay, now let's continue. Let's see if we see any other names here. Vince Carter. Vince Carter's on the list. Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley. Now, Ricky Smiley. What's interesting about that? He has. I don't know if he still has the show, but he had his own show. And one of the episodes was literally centered around Omega Psi Phi. That's how deep he's into it. Okay. Then you have Mr. Ray Lewis. Stephen A. Smith. Now, let's talk. Now, you mean to tell me all of these popular names that we're mentioning, you mean to tell me you don't believe any of these guys are a part of the Boule? I told you, I believe, and this is just my critique, the Divine Nine, a lot of those fraternities are basically recruitment centers for the Boule. Okay, when you look at a lot of these stars, I guarantee you a good portion of them pledged some type of fraternity or sorority. That's just my critique. Okay. But yeah. Now we're really getting into it, because we see here Mr. Michael Jordan pledged Omega Psi Phi. And I actually believe I want to say he pledged in 87. I could be wrong. Okay, y'all can fact check me on it. But he did pledge Omega Psi Phi. Okay. So now let's get some receipts. Okay. I'm building up to something here. Okay, but let's get some receipts. Watch this. Now check this out. There's your boy right there in the middle, Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Okay, with his Q Dog brothers. Okay, we see here. Okay, that's him. He pledged Omega Psi Phi. Okay, now that's the color scheme. I'm jumping the gun, but that's the color scheme. That's definitely Omega Psi Phi. And that is Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan in the middle. Okay, let's get some more receipts. Now here again, there you have Mr. Michael Jordan on the right. Okay, now that hand sign, that hand gesture, that's the members of Omega Psi Phi. They'll throw that up. That's for the Greek Q. Okay, letting you know that you are a Q dog. Okay, oftentimes throughout Shaquille O'Neal's career, he stayed throwing that up. Okay, I remember when I was a kid, I would see him throwing it up, and I'm like, what does that mean? Well, it means he was a part of Omega Psi Phi. He was a Q dog. Okay, as is Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Okay, let's move forward with our receipts. Now, this next one, boy, is okay, let's just move forward. You'll see what I'm talking about. Watch this. Here again, you have Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan in the back. Now, of course, I believe this photo was during his initiation. Okay, and it would have to be. That's why him and the other fellow in front of him they're dressed identically, because this is some type of initiation into the Omega Psi Phi. But again, this photo is very pause worthy. This is a no Diddy moment. It's very pause worthy. There's no reason to be standing this close behind another man. This, okay. I don't know what's going on here, but it's very suspect. It's very suspect. Okay, but again, with these Greek letter fraternities, this Lord knows what they do behind closed doors, dealing with these initiations. It's very off the wall. Okay, I'm gonna leave this right here. Okay, let's move forward. All right, so this is Michael Jordan in the middle. Okay, after an NBA championship, I don't know which one this is, which championship number this is, but of course this is him in the middle again, throwing it up for the Omega Psi Phi. Okay, the Q. Okay, he's a Q dog. All right. So again, with that, I mean, there should be enough evidence to show you that he did pledge Omega Psi Phi. Okay, and I'm going to further prove that with the next photo. Okay, watch this. All right, so this is actually a photo of Mr. Michael Jordan shirtless, right? Now, if you look at his chest, that would be his left pectoral, there's a symbol there, right? Now, of course, that's the Q that's used for the Omega Psi Phi, the Omega Psi Phi Q. Now, a lot of you may be saying, oh, I didn't know Michael Jordan had a tattoo. Well, no, he doesn't. Well, one may say, well, what is that on his chest? Well, let me tell you. Okay. When you look at these different fraternities, a lot of times the initiation is just out there. Some of the wildest stuff in the world you have to do to be initiated. Okay. Now, a lot of times with these Greek fraternities, a lot of times a part of the initiation is branding. Okay. You have to literally get branded. You have to, a lot of times, brand the fraternity's logo on your skin. Whether it be with a hot iron or a very cold iron. Either way, I think most times it's with a hot iron, okay? But they have to get branded. That's not a tattoo. Michael Jordan was branded with the Omega Psi Phi Q, showing he's a Q dog. And it's branded on his chest. That's how serious these people are about pledging to whatever fraternity they pledge to. Michael Jordan is indeed a Q dog. He's a member of Omega Psi Phi. Okay? But now, with that, let's actually move forward. Okay? Because I believe that's more than enough evidence right there. Michael Jordan pledged Omega Psi Phi. Okay? But let's move forward. Let's look at another photo. Still on topic, but we're going to digress just a little bit. And we're going to come right back. Okay, let's look at this photo. All right, so as you see, this particular photo is, of course, of members of Omega Psi Phi. Now, I actually happened to just stumble across this photo during my investigations for this video. Okay, I don't really know who these brothers are. Okay, I don't know who they are or where they're at or when this was even taken. Who knows? Maybe they just left the movies from seeing Black Panther. I don't know. But notice they're throwing up the X. Okay, this particular gesture is for Osiris. Going back to the Kemetic so-called god Osiris. That's what that gesture is for. Okay, now whether or not they're privy to that fact, I don't know. But remember earlier in this video, I told you that these Greek letter fraternities goes back to what? Freemasonry. Freemasonry simply goes back to the mystery school systems, the mystery religions of old, which is rooted in paganism. I told you that. Okay, but we just use this as a bonus photo. I'm not going to digress too much, but of course, as you see, these brothers do pledge Omega Psi Phi. That much we know for a fact. Okay, so with that, let's move forward. So here is a little bit of information about Omega Psi Phi, and what I actually want to place emphasis on is the colors. Okay. Now, of course, the color scheme is royal purple and old gold. Okay, which is very telling. Remember, I said part of me doing this whole video series is to show that Michael Jordan's life is scripted, just as most of these prominent celebrities. Okay, they live scripted lives. Why is the royal purple and gold important? Well, even if you look at Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, okay, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, where did he go to college? I believe he went to college at LSU. What is their color scheme? I believe their color scheme is also purple and gold. Okay, fast forward, Shaquille O'Neal won the majority of his championships where at? With the Los Angeles Lakers. Color scheme, purple and gold. Which leads us to Mr. Michael Jordan. Well, some of you may say, well, Michael Jordan never played for the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, of course he didn't. But let me ask you something. Who did Mr. Michael Jordan win his very first championship against? Oh, yes, that's right. The Los Angeles Lakers. Michael Jordan won his first championship against the Los Angeles Lakers, the team whose color scheme is the same as the fraternity that MJ pledged to, Omega Psi Phi. Do you not see a part of the script? Do you not see the script as being written? Then on top of that, the very first team he wins a championship against is the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers, that's dealing with water. Again, did I not tell you that I believe that water is a trigger for Mr. Michael Jordan? You can't make this up. Okay? Again, now that's that part of the script. Okay? Now, if you want to get even deeper into it, this is a story that's being told. Okay, what the Los Angeles Lakers represent, they represent the ancient Phoenicians. Okay, the ancient Canaanites. Okay, the ancient Phoenicians, the ancient Canaanites, they were great mariners. Okay, they navigated the water very well. Okay, dealing with basically trade. Okay, hence you have the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, now what colors are associated with the ancient Phoenicians, the ancient Canaanites? To further prove my point, let's look at the next slide. Now listen to this. Purple and gold were strongly associated with the Canaanites, especially the Phoenicians, a civilization that developed from Canaanite roots along the eastern Mediterranean coast. The colors symbolize the extraordinary wealth and status derived from their trade in the prize Tyrian purple dye and precious metals like gold. Okay, so purple and gold is closely associated with the ancient Canaanites, okay, who were great mariners. They navigated the water very well. Hence, you have the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the question begs, what ancient false deity did the ancient Canaanites worship? Now it should be coming full circle. Let's look at the next slide. And it reads, yes, the ancient Canaanites worshipped Baal, a powerful fertility and storm god, often depicted with bull horns. Allow me to repeat that part. A powerful fertility and storm god, often depicted with bull horns, symbolizing strength and potency. It says, as a chief deity controlling rain, crops, and human fertility, with worship involving ecstatic rites, cultic prostitution, and sometimes child sacrifice, making him the main rival to, well, they say Yahweh, but it's really Yahweh, for the Israelites. Okay, so the animal that's associated with Baal is the bull. Okay, that really should be common knowledge for anybody that studies even a little bit. Okay, so why did I go through all that? What's the story that's being told? Okay, Michael Jordan won his first championship against a team that really represents the ancient Canaanites, and he plays for the Chicago Bulls. So what are they trying to tell us? Michael Jordan winning that championship against the Lakers is just showing that the ancient Canaanites bowed the knee to Baal. That's all it's going into. Do you not see the script that's being played out here? Again, y'all don't realize, but these people, these celebrities and people in prominent places in this world, they really, truly go into and venerate the different mystery schools of old. The average people, the layman, they don't know what's going on. Okay, but you have to look at this stuff again, because again, the left hand side is meant to mimic the right hand side. That's why this is important. Okay, you got to know what's going on in this world. Be not ignorant in any matter, be it small or great. Okay, so now that we dealt with that was his first championship, correct? Now with that, who did he win his second championship against? It was none other than the Portland Trail Blazers. That's who he won his second championship against. Again, this is a part of a script, down to the teams that he won against. This is a story that's being told. Okay? First, it was against the Lakers, which again, that's water, which is a trigger for him. They represent the ancient Canaanites. He plays for the Chicago Bulls, which represents Baal, which is the so-called god that the Canaanites worshipped. Right? Moving forward, his second championship in 1992 was against the Portland Trail Blazers. Question: what is a trailblazer? Let's take a look. Well, before that, let's actually look at the logo. Okay. The logo for the Portland Trail Blazers, okay, is the logo is basically a pinwheel. Okay, basically the 5 stripes on each side is supposed to represent the 5 players on each team that's on the court. Okay, that's really, when you actually look it up, that's what it's supposed to be. Now, when I look at this, I see the number 69. Okay, which represents as above, so below, which makes all the sense in the world when you look at the narrative of Michael Jordan and what this is leading to. Okay, and then when you look at, again, this is the Portland Trail Blazers, right? And that symbol, now this I'll admit, this may be a reach, but when I look at this symbol, it reminds me a lot of the Wizard of Oz and the Yellow Brick Road when you look at it from an aerial view. Okay, and which this is really the same type of story that's going on with Michael Jordan, which I'm going to prove here in a few minutes. Okay, but with that being said, what is a trailblazer by definition? Okay, let's take a look at that. So a trailblazer is a person who is a leader, pioneer, or innovator, being the first to do something new, break new ground, or create a new path in a specific field, inspiring others to follow. Whether it's in science, business, art, or likely marking a trail in the wilderness. They see opportunities differently, challenge norms, and make new ideas or ways of doing things acceptable or popular. Okay. So, looking at this from a 2-dimensional perspective, Michael Jordan indeed was a trailblazer. Okay, because he created really a new dynamic and standard for winning in the NBA. And really not just the NBA, but just in general. For example, if you look at any field of endeavor, when somebody is the best in that field, what do they say? Like, let's just take rap music for example. Somebody may say, such and such is the Michael Jordan of rap, or they're the Michael Jordan of this particular field, because he set the standard of winning and being the best. Michael Jordan was indeed a trailblazer, and that's just from a 2-dimensional perspective. He also opened up doors and opportunities for these modern day athletes, basketball athletes, for endorsement deals to make more money. Michael Jordan is the one that really did this. He's the trailblazer, and that's just from a 2-dimensional perspective. 3-dimensionally, he is on a trail, a path, esoterically. Okay? And he really set the path, or he was a trailblazer for a particular person that he's tethered to, which really we should already know who it is. It's Mr. LeBron James, but okay, we'll get more into Mr. LeBron James a little bit later. Okay, but yes, Michael Jordan indeed was a trailblazer. Okay, and really, he was a trailblazer for a lot of different NBA players, especially the ones that came right after he retired. Okay, Michael Jordan is really the one that created what's known as hero ball, if you really think about it. And what's funny about that, when you look at the concept of hero ball, I probably won't put that in here. You can look it up on your own. But the word hero literally comes from the name Heru, which is Horus. Believe it or not. Okay. But that's enough of that. That's your homework. Y'all can look that up on your own. Okay. It's like if I were to put every single thing in these videos, it'd probably be about 10 parts. Okay, but moving forward, that was his second championship, right? So moving forward, going along the path, the trail, who did he win his third championship against? Now we really about to get into it. Because this is a story, a script. When you look at this, it really is. He won his third championship against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns. Why is this important? We already said Michael Jordan is playing the role of Horus / Heru. We've already proven what? That the sun is associated with Horus, did we not? This is why he had to win his third championship against the Phoenix Suns. Because he is indeed playing the role of Horus, okay? Hence, his first Air Jordan shoe, the symbol was what? The winged sun disc. He's playing the role of Horus. Now, this particular team was what? The Phoenix Suns. What is a phoenix? Because now oh boy. What is a phoenix? Well, let's take a look. Watch this. Now, you know what? But before we even get into what a phoenix is, let's look at something else real quick, because this is very telling too. This particular season, the 1993 playoffs, I want to look at how many points Michael Jordan scored in the playoffs. Then we'll get to the definition of what a phoenix is. Okay? Let's look at how many points Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan scored in the 1993 playoffs. Okay, watch this. And here you have it. Yes, Michael Jordan scored exactly 666 total points during the 1993 NBA playoffs. Allow me to repeat that part. Yes, Michael Jordan scored exactly 666 total points during the 1993 NBA playoffs. Let's pause right there. Now, people, I know people will think that a lot of times I be reaching, but these people, they pay very close attention to detail, down to how many points the player scores. They look at things like numbers and things like that very closely. It should let you know I'm not reaching. What are the odds that this man scored exactly 666 points in the 1993 NBA playoffs? And this was his third championship. Again, 666. Then you got that number 3. This is his third championship. Okay. It says leading all players in scoring for that postseason run as the Chicago Bulls won the championship, averaging an incredible 41 points per game in the finals against the Phoenix Suns. Total playoff points, 666. It really isn't anything else to say. I mean, what else can I say? Okay, we all know what that number represents. Okay. I'm going to just leave that right there. Now let's get into what is the definition of a phoenix. Because again, he won his 3rd championship against the Phoenix Suns. Right? What is a phoenix? Let's look at the next slide.